So before we go there, I want to talk about some of the power that your mind actually has. Because each one of us is tapping maybe 2%, maybe 1% of really the power of what our brains actually can do. And so I'll give you an example. In my studies, I came across a group of monks who live in the Himalayas, or the Himalayas. And these monks spend their entire life attempting to get to this highest teachings. There's a particular set of teachings that are considered the highest teachings. So their entire life is spent 30, 40 years trying to get to this one test. And if they can pass this one test, then they can get the highest teachings. So after they've spent their entire life trying to get to this final test so they can get to the highest teaching of their particular, faith and their particular way of looking at the world, the test looks something like this. This group of monks is stripped of their clothing and given a wool blanket. They're led out of the monastery in the wintertime, up the mountain to where the snow line is, and they take their blankets off and sit in the snow, and then a hole is punched in the river, in the ice, and each one of their blankets is dipped into that freezing cold water. It is then brought back to the monk who is sitting in the snow, wrapped around the monk. And the monk's job, his test, is to use his mind to heat his body to the point whereby he can dry the blanket. But not only once, 7 times. So the test begins at sunset, and by sunrise, dip, dry, focus, dip, dry, focus, dip, dry, focus, dip, drip, focus, dry, dip, 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 focus, dry, and one more time, dip, focus, dry. Clearly these guys have got a handle on something. Astronauts control somewhere between 12 and 15 bodily functions. Their oxygen absorption, their respiration, their heart rate, their digestion, with their minds. So if they can do it, can anyone do it? Absolutely. But what is it that they're using that allows them to do that? And the key element in that idea is the idea of focus and the idea of attention.